And after you had that conversation, was there anything else you did to check the qualifications of Majestic Security?
No.
Okay. Did you ever run a criminal background check on Majestic Security or Mr. Silva or anything like that? No. Did you ever make inquiry into the status of the licenses of the security guards they had?
No.
Okay. Did you ever make any inquiry into the level and type of qualifications of the security guards Majestic would provide?
No.
Okay. So the extent of you checking into the qualifications of Majestic Security was your conversation with the front desk manager at the South Seas Hotel, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did Mr. Silva ever advise you that he was preparing security policies and procedures for the hotel?
No.
Okay. He never advised you of that?
Never.
Issue with security at the hotel before January 1st, 2013?
No.
Okay. So despite the fact that night clerk was battered on the property and police were required to respond, that in the mind of the Marseilles Hotel did not occasion any problem with the security at the hotel, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. The fact that there was someone that wanted to throw acid in the face of one of your employees, did MCM Corp. Marseilles Hotel see that as a problem of security?
No.
No. The fact that there was someone wandering around the hotel lobby that wanted to hire a hitman to kill someone that worked at your hotel, did MCM see that as a problem with security at all?
No.
Okay. Once you learned about the fact that this person was arrested for aggravated stalking and planned on throwing acid on one of your employees' faces, did you do anything to change the security procedures at all?
No.
Continue the depot. We'll see. Sir, will you agree with me that the Marseilles Hotel policy says that there shall be no physical contact between staff and guests? Okay. Anyone employed by the hotel and guests, correct?
Any employee of the hotel, correct.
And guests.
And yes, yes.
They're not to be touched. Yes?
Correct.
And if someone does that, it's a violation of the hotel policy.
That's correct.
Now, when did you learn that security guards at the Marseilles Hotel were walking around the hotel and performing their duties armed with handcuffs?
I never learned it.
No one ever told you? You know if anyone ever told Mr. Mendel?
I would have no idea.
Are you learning of this today?
Yes, I knew that the man who died was handcuffed.
That's not something that you ever approved or Mr. Mendel ever approved?
No. We knew nothing about Joseph and his policies.
I mean, looking at Exhibit 3, all those incidents, did Lloyd Mendel ever pause and decide to increase security besides one security guard for 3 properties?
No, and as the executive manager, owner, he would not really need to consult something like that with me. So my only,
Okay.
my limit
Did you tell Lloyd Mendel that people were getting hurt at his hotel?
not only did I tell him that people were being hurt. Not only did I tell them that there were items missing from rooms, not only did I tell them that we have to consistently contact the authorities, but that unfortunately it would rate us poorly, which was something that he was very concerned about because of, at that time, 2008 was a time where TripAdvisor, which I think everybody by now knows, was a website that was gaining a lot of attention, and he wanted to be one of the better ranking properties in South Beach. There's.
But wait, I have trouble understanding this because you got hurt or almost got hurt personally,
Right.
and you communicated this to him.
Yes.
Okay.
Plain English.
And his response was, "It's not in the budget."
It's not in the budget.
And other people, including guests, were getting hurt, and you communicated this to him. That's correct?
Correct.
And his response was, "It's not in the budget."
Correct.
The Marseilles Hotel to physically restrain registered hotel guests in any way without the police.
Objection.
Absolutely not. That I don't mean to be insulting, but I don't know that it exists in any single hotel policy manual in any country of this world to go ahead and let an employee of a management company, of a hotel company, touch a guest, if not per se to do CPR on the guest. We're not allowed to touch guests. We're not allowed to fraternize with guests. It is as customary as you're not allowed to ask for a tip. It would be the first time in my life that I've heard that it would be okay for a hotel employee to physically touch a guest in any way, shape, or form other than to perform CPR.
And were you ever aware of any policy condoning the handcuffing of guests at the Marseilles Hotel?
Objection.
No, I've never heard of that in my life. No. I'm sorry. I don't. First of all, I've never seen a pair of handcuffs at a hotel other than by maybe a director of security in a 500+ corporate hotel, and even then, in a hotel where I worked, where we had George W. Bush as a president, would we ever even think of handcuffing a guest? I mean, that's why we have police. That's an odd question right there.
If you hold someone long enough around the neck and they can't breathe, they can die, right?
So ken bon moun nan kou assez longtemps, moun nan pa ka respirer, donc il mourit.
Okay. You agree?
Okay. Vous d'accord? Yes.
Okay. So, before you get involved with your handcuffs, whose hands were around whose neck?
Donc avant, ou commence à faire menottes là. Kou bras ki moun, ki toto, kou ki moun. The doctors.
So the doctor had already subdued him.
Donc docteur a été déjà, disons, étranglé les bras, bras devant.
Yeah, they take him with
Yes, they had him held down by the neck.
Okay. And subsequent to that, after that, is when you use your handcuffs.
Et c'est bien après ou même vous venez mettre les docteurs.
Non, parce que pendant les médailles couchées, pendant les médailles couchées, un peu, non, mais le 21, vous n'avez pas fait mouvement.
Because the bigger guy that was already on the ground he still wanted to fight.
Yeah,
No, I'm just saying that it was after the doctor was on top of him with his hands around his neck for a time that you came with your handcuffs.
Yeah.
C'est après un bout de temps que nèg là lui-même avec bras autour pour l'autre là que finalement même vous venez mettre les docteurs.
Yeah, parce que les mois, c'est ce que vous faites déjà toujours. Non, je m'étais.
Yes, because it wouldn't stop.
So the big man, he was face down at that point?
Est-ce que gros nèg là tête li ta tête? Côté tête li.
Il était couché.
He was laying down.
Le moins, mettre minutes là, il était couché comme tout.
When I put the handcuffs, he was laying down.
The big man's face was facing the ground?
E gros nèg là, like this.
Grandma Jean ever tell you to take the handcuffs off?
Vraiment jeune. No.
At any point, did you ever handcuff Mr. Karfis behind his back?
Who?
Mr. Karfis.
Whoever did.
At any point, did you ever handcuff Mr. Karfis behind his back?
Est-ce que les gens ne mettaient aucun note pour M. Karfis dans le dos? Ici. Non, front.
Question now, was he handcuffed? And do you remember telling him that he was handcuffed on the back?
No, he wasn't handcuffed on the back. No.
Okay, but do you remember telling the police that?
No.
Okay, well, I have your statement, and I want you to hear what you told the police.
From the lobby and the restaurant they were there.
Right. Now, when you arrive, the victim in this case, when you saw him, where was he?
He was on the floor, laying on the floor, handcuffed.
Okay, how was he handcuffed?
He was handcuffed on the back.
Okay. Now,
Is that your voice?
Yeah, that's my voice.
Okay.
now, so how was he handcuffed?
He was handcuffed behind his back.
Behind his back?
Yes, yeah, behind his back. Like
You
this.
sure?
Yes.
Okay. Now, who does the handcuffing?
The security guard.
The same one?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as best as you can recall, how much time passed before the security officer showed up, or the police? Who showed up first, the police or
The
security? guard?
security shuttle first.
Okay. How much time passed before he showed up?
About 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes?
Yes.
So, now, do you now going back to the gentleman who passed away, as he's being held in the full Nelson, what's he doing?
He wasn't doing anything.
Okay. Now, when I remember that, is he trying to pull away? Is he trying to kick?
He wasn't doing anything.
Okay.
He was just lying there.
Now, okay. So, does the doctor eventually separate from him?
Yes.
Does the doctor separate and stand up?
Yes.
Okay. Now, who handcuffs the gentleman?
The first security gentleman that I
You
called
called?
out. Yes.
Okay. Now, the guy who gets handcuffed after he's released by the doctor, what is he doing on the ground?
He was just there.
He was just there.
He wasn't speaking. He wasn't moving.
Was he awake?
Yes.
Yes.
My question is, what do you tell the police about Mr. Karfis being a threat? Yeah, you remember
Well,
that?
yeah, he was, when he no longer possessed a threat, which is about 30 seconds.
Okay. Do you remember speaking to the police?
Yeah,
Okay. And everything you told them was true, right? You don't lie to the police, right?
everything I told him was true, yes.
Safety. Let's stop there for a moment.
You know me?
The
Is it too loud?
I think so.
doctor, as you're referring to him, he removes himself from the person who passed away. After he does that, the person who passed away, as you know, what is he doing on the ground? Does he get up? What does he do?
No, he's lying there, just lying there. Alice is that's all I see.
Lying on the ground.
It seems like he's totally surrendered to the fact that this is over.
Now let me ask you this.
Okay. So, at some point, Mr. Alexis is told by the woman to handcuff him.
At some point, Mr. Alexis decides to completely handcuff the gentleman based on the testimony the woman was giving me. But we were talking.
Okay. Wait, do you give the order?
No, I did not
Okay.
give the order
Why didn't you give the order?
because I was talking to the lady.
Okay, so he did it while you weren't looking.
He must have put the second handcuff. He had one. I saw one handcuff on the guy originally. One handcuff.
Oh,
One
you already had
handcuff.
one arm cuffed?
Just one handcuff, yes.
That's when you walked in
When I walked in, he had one handcuffed in.
already. And you don't know if he had one handcuff because he was cuffed before, or...
He could have had both handcuffs at the same time.
Well, no, you don't...
No.
Let me
Apparently,
finish my question. You don't know when you walked in and you saw him with one handcuff on one arm. You don't know if that was because they had either started putting the handcuffs on or they had started taking them off before you got there, right?
right. Yes.
All you saw was that he was partially handcuffed when you walked in.
Right.
Okay. And at some point, not because you requested it and not because the hotel asked him to do it, Alexis decides to handcuff this gentleman.
Yes.
The passed out
But
gentleman.
based on the conversation she heard.
Down.
Yes. Right?
Yes.
The passed out gentleman.
Yes. The handcuffing was a direct decision by Joseph Alexis.
And procedures.
Let me take my medication. You're making me feel sick, man.
No problem. Want to take a break?
No. I don't want to take a break. I just want to take my medication. I can get up very high, my blood pressure get very high because there's things I don't like about this things. It's like the clips they're taking out of the thing. I don't think it's fair to me.
Since you're testifying, I have to ask you what you just consumed. Since you're testifying,
Yes.
I have to ask you what you just took.
I took a paracetamol, Xanax.
No, you just took a Xanax.
Yeah, because I'm feeling very nervous and tension. I want to see if I relax, I can go through this procedure a little more.
Okay.
More relaxed.
What was the dosage of the Xanax?
2 milligrams.
Of course. And if it helps your memory.
Okay.
Don't know.
Did you ever see the decedent get handcuffed? Did you ever see him?
Handcuffed me?
Yes, I saw. I was there. You saw when Joseph handcuffed him? Yeah. How did he handcuff him? In the front, in the back?
In the back. The guy was on the floor.
Yeah, it's me.
That was your voice?
Yeah.
Okay, does that refresh your memory?
Yeah.
And does that refresh your memory as to how you saw the gentleman handcuffed?
So yeah, so it's the image I have in my mind.
Handcuffed in the back?
He was handcuffed in the back.
Okay. Can you demonstrate that one more time for the camera, since it's on film? And my question is, you observed the gentleman with his hands on his, tied behind his back, and his belly was on the floor?
Objection.
Okay, and that's, and then you can sit down, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Did you observe any particular traces or evidence on Mr. Karfis' body indicating a death by asphyxiation or strangulation?
Yes. In the very beginning, when I started looking at his body, I always look at a body from head to toe. And in this case, Mr. Karfis was laying supine, which means he was laying on his back on a hospital bed, a gurney, as we call them. And when I started looking at his head and looking at his face, his eyes, the minute I opened his eyes, I saw petechial hemorrhaging in one of his eyes. And I put it in my report, it was either the left or right eye. And that's usually indicative to me where someone was actually held by the neck, strangulation, those kind of factors.
And that's consistent?
So that's when I said I became suspicious that this was not going to be like a natural death, an accidental death. It was going to be more complicated than that.
So no question in your mind that this death, regardless of the reason for it, was classified as homicide, death caused by another person?
Yes.
Is that a copy of the evidence receipt for the video of the Marseilles Hotel?
It is.
Okay, does it bear your signature?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and who provided you the video of the incident from the Marseilles Hotel?
Stephen Mendel.
Okay, and your understanding is Mr. Mendel is the son of the owner of the hotel, Lloyd Mendel?
Yes.
Okay. And did Mr. Mendel ever explain to you why there was no video footage of the incident?
Actually, he did, but I'm trying to remember the reason. I immediately, when we heard the fight happen in the lobby, and we actually physically saw a camera on the lobby, of course we wanted to collect the video from that. But we learned from them that that equipment was not collecting or recording. Only the videos inside the hallways of the hotels were recording.
Okay.
That's the explanation we heard.
No more than that?
No more than that.
Did he tell you exactly how many cameras were in that area?
He did not tell you. Which area now?
The lobby area.
Oh, he may have at the time, I just don't remember. But you can see, there was a camera. I actually saw it when I went to the hotel. And of course I was concerned for us. We immediately wanted to look for video that would have captured the event. But apparently there was no video.
Any system you would access if you want to record something from there?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you click that, it would tell you how much video has been saved and what's available and if you want to copy it?
Yeah.
Did you access that menu pursuant to the request of Miami Beach Police Department on January 1st, 2013?
They didn't ask for anything from them.
They didn't ask for video of the altercation in the lobby?
But there was no video. That camera was not working, and there was no other footage of.
Didn't you say there was video? There were 6 cameras?
Yes.
Okay. How are you sure that none of those cameras picked up anything relevant? There was also another camera in the lobby, wasn't there?
Not in that part of the lobby, no.
In another part of the lobby?
Yes.
Yeah, there was another camera there?
There's another camera there.
Okay, so those 6 cameras, when you told me there was nothing relevant on those, do you actually check them to see?
I don't recall.
And if there was something relevant on the functioning cameras, the 6 other functioning cameras, you would have retrieved that and given it to the police also?
I would have.
Okay. But we can agree that at least from the downstairs system, no video was downloaded, retrieved, saved of any type, right?
I don't believe so.
And absolutely none was turned over to the police?
I don't believe so.
Okay, but we can agree that he appeared to Mr. Selva, and Mr. Selva stated to you that it appeared that he was snoring like if someone were asleep. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And it was subsequent to Mr. Selva observing Mr. Karfis in this condition that Mr. Selva testified to you that Mr. Alexis handcuffed Mr. Karfis.
Yes. And he talked about that he could see Karfis' stomach, his belly, and that's why he remembered thinking that he was on his side, according to him.
And subsequent to that, in fact, shortly after that, Mr. Karfis expired.
Yes.
Like he don't know what to do, which I heard in the police station when they helped me, that he was tired of working there 2 days. He didn't know what the hell he was doing because what he was supposed to.
Didn't know what the hell he was doing. Those were your words?
Right, right.
And is that, and you wouldn't change
I was upset at everything that went on that day, yeah. So I felt that he didn't do what he was supposed to do as a security.
Didn't know what the hell he was doing?
He didn't know what the hell he was doing.
I feel that this good Samaritan, if they want to call him, no, he's not a good Samaritan.
No, not at that, at that point, again, he wasn't to me.
You work for Catholic Charities?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you know the meaning of bearing false witness?
Yes.
You wouldn't bear false witness, would you?
Not at all.
Okay. So we can agree that when you spoke to Leanna, telling him about what happened, you weren't calling Mr. Picacho a good Samaritan, were you?
No.
Now, did you want or have any desire for Alex to be killed that night?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
And sitting here today...
And anybody who says that, they're out of their mind.
Now, I want you to assume...
To even say that.
Would you agree that Alex deserved what he got that night, that he deserved to die?
Not at all.
No. So if someone would come in this case, and I want you to tell the jury this, that Alex deserved to die for what happened to you that night, is that
That
your
hurts
feeling?
me. I mean, I can't even say it. I have to live with this all my life.
You don't feel that way?
I don't feel like...
The gentleman that was in the photograph, wasn't it your testimony to Leanna that he, quote, didn't do shit?
He didn't do nothing. Well, that's
Those
how
were your words, right? He didn't do shit. So
yeah, I did say that.
The security guard there, you're on the ground, Alex is on the ground being choked, and security's not doing shit, in your words.
Right. About 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. That I know.
And you were screaming actually against having the handcuffs on, weren't you?
Yeah.
Do you recall saying, don't put the handcuffs on him? What could he possibly do?
What for?
What for?
That's what I said. What for? No.
What could he possibly do, I think, were your words. Your testimony to Liana that the white guy killed him?
The white guy.
The white guy killed him, right? The white guy murdered him, right? That's what you said?
The white guy killed him. That's my...
Yeah. That's what you said. I mean, it's not...
That's what, I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't...
Yeah.
Yeah, I did say, yeah.
The
I didn't know
guy,
his name.
the white guy murdered him.
There's the African American and there's the white guy. So that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
It's the
because
white
Ileana
guy.
asked you who murdered Alex, and you said the white
I
guy.
didn't know his
didn't you?
name. I really didn't even know his name.
But that was your testimony, Ileana, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I said something like, I might have said something like, yeah, you're white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was no question in your mind that day that whatever the reason, it was the white guy, Cacho, whatever you want to call him, that murdered Alex that night, correct?
He was the one who jumped on his back.
Yes?
That night. Yes, and I still do.
You still love Alex. He didn't deserve what he got. No?
Not at all, no.
No. Okay.
He didn't deserve
Because the
that.
jury's going to want to know in this case that if you think Alex
He
deserved what he
didn't
got that
deserve
night,
that. I
he
mean,
didn't
I
deserve it,
know.
right?
Although
No.
no, he didn't.
So if someone wants to come in here and say, you know what, Alex got what he deserved that night, you don't agree with that, would you?
I don't agree with that.
He didn't deserve to die that night. No?
I like that.
I mean, weren't you...
Or anyway, I mean, it's just period. It's-
When you saw him
I mean,
turning blue, weren't you yelling to get the handcuffs on him?
He's dying. I said, I'm yelling, he's dying.
You're yelling at the security guard, right?
I'm yelling at whoever's listening. I just yelled, he's dying, I'm screaming.
And what did they do?
It's,
Did they help him?
That's when they, I don't know if at that point, I know that the doctor did give him CPR.
Other than the doctor, did the security guard make a move at all to help him when he was screaming that he was dying?
No, I didn't see him do anything.
No.
I did not.
Anyone
I made all parties aware that my client, Dr. Picaccio, will be invoking his right to Fifth Amendment and not be answering any questions concerning the events leading up to or the night of the incident in question. So while you may ask the question, you're going to spend 20 minutes hearing him repeat the word, I take the fifth, or the words, I take the fifth. So however you want to proceed, if you want to confirm that with him. But other than that, there will be no questions that will be responded to. So a blanket fifth regarding to all of the questions concerning the night of the incident, the aftermath, and anything to do with that event.
Do you agree with what your attorney has to
The
say?
advice of my attorney, I take the fifth.